Alrighty, this is showing you the neighborhood, the people of the state that are demons engaging in sharing in the pattern of conduct, monitoring. These are enemies of the United States that are going to be specifically documented for purposes of identifying those that are enemies to the country. They're maintaining the light activity while the entity was flying in 9 planes. Boy, they're not asleep, monitoring together. Stalking in the vehicle right here. This is P.O.C. I'm going to document all these license plates right now. It's 6:40 a.m. Yeah, sitting in the vehicle, engaging in monitoring with the neighborhood. This is P.O.C. Flying 79137L3, and that's the basis of prison. That's the P.O.C. That's a psychopath driving off when I come and document. These are cowards. They're also sex offenders monitoring vagina in bathrooms, doing so while they're violating you sexually, stalking in the path of light activity. The U.S. military is going to be prosecuted for that. That's the entity that's gang stalking with every police department, with every neighborhood. And the people of the state that are engaging in surveillance in their homes are aiding in that. P.O.C. All right, what you're witnessing is there's no church. There's no genuine church. There certainly is no church over here. These are gang stalking demons that go by the name of PO.C. Church, engaging in criminal activity and then walking in and engaging in the pattern of conduct. These are demons, and you need to know that demons congregate. I just documented gang stalking with the light activity, and you're listening to them monitoring while Union Pacific is amplified plane activity. Those are Satan's servants, and they go under the fake church name PO.C. Church. Satan calls himself a church all the time. But you're going to see the license plates in this video. I'm going to publish this to YouTube, but because I have some audio in it, but the license plates I'm not reading out loud. You'll have to look at them in order to see the identification of the people. Alrighty, I am documenting license plates with regard to the immediacy, the relevant positioning, the zone where I'm at, where the entity is criminally monitoring in concert with the entity that is stalking in commercial airline planes. The series of plane activity is the direct evidence to prosecute the people who in court under the law, I'm just letting you know how that kind of case works. They don't have a defense. The people of the state are fully exposed with regard to a prosecution. If you're at your auntie's house on the morning, if you are at the grocery store and then you come out, understand the entities engaging in what is a system, there is never any abandonment of that pattern of conduct, and you are going to be federally prosecuted regardless of what you state at that time. You weren't there and you don't know. You're going to be federally prosecuted, period. The government is serving to prosecute the people, and this is inevitable when you have that criminal conspiracy, and that conspiracy is already established. Okay, so the entity is going to be federally prosecuted under all circumstances. That's the significance of cleaning up and getting all the license plates of everybody that surrounds you while the entity engages in that. If you recall, the entity stalked me by helicopter in Upland, California, and then I went about getting everybody's license plates outside of that venue, at the adjacent venues as well, throughout that entire parking lot. The psychopaths that engage in the criminal activity are then hostile. They're psychotic when you document them. As though the entity is literally, this is again, the mentally ill, the delusional, that behave as though they have a right to engage in it and avoid, by virtue of harassment, being identified. And it's the exact opposite. You're going to be facing prison time, if not already, by virtue of stalking me with a police department. And that's exactly what's happening while the U.S. military are in any city stalking by helicopter. But Marcelo Blanco, Mike Lorenz, they're fully engaged in that. The U.S. military using the Ontario Police Department helicopters, the Ontario Police Department stalking me, and Ontario Police Department helicopters, the U.S. military stalking me in the city of Ontario with the Ontario Police Department in helicopters. This is where you are exercising fictitious authority as having jurisdiction. Be prepared to go to prison, because that's exactly what is going to happen. This is the entity that does so with the people. It's pointing directly at the people, and they just provided 9 planes, 9 planes. And doing so as I begin the documentation, that's when they start that hysteria, that manic conduct. And they're doing so with regard to, that's also speaking to the fact that you are indeed engaged in surveillance. That's the pattern. Once I start opening my mouth and I start speaking, and then it's precipitating planes. Okay, this is the entity that engages in that pattern. And then the ongoing 6th cycle as I document. Then, are you documenting? Why are you asking me questions that you know the answer to? You're psychotic. And everyone that is watching, and it does matter that everyone is watching, because this is a public prosecution, a public investigation, and everyone is aware of the fact of what is already. This is not a some sort of mysterious, secretive, ongoing process whereby you're getting away with something, and if you interfere in that video that's created right then and there, then you're like, they're delusional. You're going to prison. You're going to prison for everything you say and do. It's already known what the pattern of conduct is. Everything that you say and do. Okay, that's the POC though. I want to get these license plates because this is, again, a memorial. The entity, it starts stalking with light activity in the path. That's a threat as well. That's speaking to the entire neighborhood already. You already had 9 planes, then you have a demon come outside just flashing light in the path. That's the same evidence incriminating all of them, many of whose license plate I just documented. Pacing, license 5DXF 462. Union Pacific is also monitoring. POC, this is the entire neighborhood. This is the fake churches like Vos Church at Holt and Vine Avenue. The entity is going to be federally prosecuted. All the benefits, the tax benefits that terrorists like Vos Church receive, they're going to be prosecuted for that. They're going to purge that. You're going to pay that back. You're being paid to engage in terrorism. You're being paid to indoctrinate. Satanic indoctrination, by the way, anti-American propaganda while you're engaging in the pattern of conduct, by the way. You are infiltrating a false religion while you engage in the pattern of conduct, and you will not be receiving any sort of benefits received like gang stalkers that get a tax benefit for maintaining these sort of venues that are highly deceptive for the U.S. government's purposes. They're going to fork that over. They're going to purge that. They're going to be liable for it, like Vos Church, who was in the parking lot gang stalking me, engaging in surveillance in their vehicles. Their gang stalking church attendees are serving in the pattern of conduct and furtherance of murdering an American citizen. You're going to purge that over, and I'm also going to criminally prosecute Satan's church so that you do not get confused about who Christ is, because that's what Satan's job is, for you to associate and be confused by and be harmed by, deterred from following Christ Jesus, who has nothing to do with what Satan is doing with the name of Christ. The two are not the same. This is POC. It is currently 6:49 a.m.